Hello, welcome to class 16 of module 2 and this is about I call it industry analysis part 1 as per the curriculum. Also, till now you have learned about Indian economy, different sectors of Indian economy, different organized sectors of Indian economy, and we learned it because before going and identifying stocks, we probably want to identify sectors first. Like which are the sector which will do well into the coming future. So generally, this is part of the fundamental analysis, but in top to bottom approach, obviously you always go and do the industry analysis first, economy analysis, and then industry analysis, and then finally identifying good companies with these those industries. But in fundamental analysis, we have taken a bottom to top approach where we will take only companies and try to understand how exactly, which company has been doing till now, what is their expected future, how are they placed in the competition, what is the number of their balance sheet, profit loss statement and cash flow is saying right now about the performance of the company. So I have segregated these two parts. In part 2 we are only talking about, in module 2 we are talking about the building blocks of the fundamental analysis, and that's why industry analysis is something which I have kept in module 2. In module 2 you will directly learn about doing the fundamental analysis of the companies directly. Well, you must be thinking that to do industry analysis, where exactly we should go and find the data, right? So for economy, you learned how to compare economy, at what rate your economy is growing, and that will give you a little bit of clue that how exactly the equity market is also going to do in future. This is what you learned in the economy class or the basic economics class when you learned about GDP and other factors also. In this class, we will first focus on where to go and do the research. As such, there is no theoretical class even if you go and try to find an MBA Finance College syllabus. As such, there's no such syllabus for this, that how to do the industry analysis. But then my point is everybody does that, and one need to do if they really want to do well into equity market, especially if they want to do long term investments. So economy or the economics is from our daily life, what you understood, and when different businesses are kept together, they are called one industry. But the point here is, when we are talking about the organized industry, organized sectors, there must be enough source, and the source for the data, source for the knowledge, for the information. From where can you get the trend? One way is, you know a lot of things. Let's say you are working in an IT company, so you know a lot about IT, maybe more than me even. And let's say you are working in a bank, so you understand a bank better, how a bank function. You understand it better, how it is going to do in the future, what are the key ingredients of success in the banking industry. So one is, yes, you have to look around and use your own learning. Businesses are done by people like you and me only. When you are investing into those businesses, again you need to understand one thing, that you can perceive the performance of those businesses based on the feedback of everyone, feedback of customer, how employees are thinking about that company or that sector, whether they see a very stable career into that sector or not. Even the employees, they are happy working in that industry or not, or within that company or not. So common or the general knowledge of your is something which you can use, and this is what I'll be showing you in the second half of this class, that I know about one sectors, some of the factors, and I will use that in terms of identifying how that sector is going to do really going to do that in future. And I did this as a part of experiment also. Some of you might have attended my live class where I spoke about few things which I know about IT industry, and on the basis of that I was forecasting something. And then I asked everyone from the IT sector itself whether they agree with me or not on those factors. And most of them said that yes, they agree on those factors. So in the second half of this class, we will take care of one of the sector and try to see whether, using my own common knowledge, which I perceived within my home itself, because my wife worked with TCS, she is from IT industry, so I used that information by talking to her, and then on the basis of that, I am forecasting few things about that industry. This is what we will do in part 2 of this class. In part 1, we will see that how we can get the organized information about one of the sector or the performance of that sector. So for that, first I'm going to introduce you one website, ibef.org. Let's understand what exactly is this website. So if you go and check wiki, it tells you that India Brand Equity Foundation is a trust established by the Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, right? So this is a very authentic website, and as I told you, like, a lot of information is there around you, but obviously you have a limitation. You might be just working into one sector and maybe intelligent enough to talk about that sector, right? But then you need a lot of logical information, lot of information which is coming from the sources like a government organization like IBEF. So let's understand about this website. I use this website, and that's why I'm recommending you to use this website also. There are many paid research reports on industry which also come, which you can think of buying also. Let's say you are managing a huge portfolio, and you're planning to manage a, become one of the career seeker in this, or manage your own huge portfolio and ready to spend some money. There are paid sources also, but I don't want to recommend that. If you Google, you will come to know. But as for what I know, many of the people who even make those paid research reports, they use this website. And this is a beautiful website. This is a website which gives you a lot of things. So let me just walk you through with few of the things so that you become quickly familiar with IBEF. So first, you can go in this tab and see that they talk about a lot of initiative about the government, like Make in India, what is the monthly economic report, budget they talk about. So you can see the budget here, FDI related news you can find here, all the survey which government conduct, the finance ministry conduct, or the Ministry of Commerce and Industry conduct. They keep these surveys here as well. So, but my favorite section is this industry. So here, if you go and click on, let's say, since we are going to talk about IT industry, let's click on IT and ITES. Now, this is a typical snapshot you get where exactly, so this is how I do, like, advantage India, growing demand, expanding economy to people, growth in local demand, strong growth in demand for exports from new verticals. Now, how do you read this? This is what I'm going to teach you here. So here, expanding economy to propel growth in local demand. Well, if we talk about IT industry, what used to happen? Most of the client used to be in Western countries, US, Europe, Australia, or other developed economy. But now India is also growing. Indian companies or government organization and other verticals of businesses are also looking for IT services to basically streamline their businesses. So it talks about that Indian IT sector is also now getting demand locally, which is again a good thing for the industry. So this is one key thing which you have to understand. But then in the hindsight, you should know that yes, Indian IT services companies were mostly dependent on the foreign revenue. Now, most of you would have this information because you have seen people going abroad working on the client side. So you know that people go abroad because the clientele of Indian services, IT services companies are sitting abroad. Now, what is the second line? Strong growth in demand for exports from new verticals. Now, how do you read it? Let me tell you how do I read it. So I read it like, what I know about the IT industry is that IT industry main client was BFSI segment. It was the banking financial services industry which took IT services in the very early stage. They had a lot of transaction to be reported and stored in database. So the very first segment of or very first vertical of the business vertical or business sector which used IT services was the BFSI segment. But see now what is happening? IT services is required even in retail. Till 10 years back, 5 years back, you never thought you are going to buy stuff from Flipkart or Amazon or eBay or other companies even in India. Now what is that vertical? This is not BFSI vertical, this is a vertical of retail. So now retail is heavily using IT as well, right? So this is what it is talking about, that a strong growth in demand for exports from new vertical. So new verticals are opening up where IT companies can get more projects. So this is how I read these two sentences. This is how you have to also read or probably use what you know about this sector and understand these terms slowly. When you start doing it, you will start interpreting. When you will start reading more and more, you will start interpreting. For some people who are at the very early stage of their career or still students, for them might be the exposure will be lesser, but then you can fill that gap by reading more about different sectors if you are thinking about making a career into, let's say, equity research. Okay, and people who are looking to invest into stock market, they obviously will have some experience in hand where they can use that experience to interpret these languages on different websites well, so that they have enough information before investing into any sector. Great. So I tried to explain you because I thought it is good to explain you one or two lines, but the idea is I cannot read the whole website for you. You have to put some effort here. My job was, because I keep getting a lot of queries that, Kundan, you talk about doing economy analysis, sector analysis, and then thinking about going and looking at the balance sheet and all those stuff. Okay, balance sheet is available everywhere, more or less we keep getting news about the Indian economy. And even if you don't get, if you have to get invested into Indian economy, there is no other choice. We will be invested into Indian economy, but how to get information on the sector? So this is the website where you can start doing the sector analysis, start becoming more aware and intelligent on different factors of the sectors. So I'll walk you through again. I'll come back and walk you through with this website. And here is, like the snapshot you can see. Well, investments and development section is there. If you really want to know about IT industry, this should be enough to give you a good basic background about the IT industry. And similarly for any other industry, you can see here, you can go financial services and you can see financial services. What is the, a snapshot? So what is in brief? Then it will show you. So let's in fact stick to one sector only so that we understand it really well. So in a snapshot, it will tell you about the introduction of this, market size, what kind of export, import, or the total clientele size, total revenue which has been generated till now, or every year they are generating. So this is, it tells you about that, So market size, when you know about the market size and you know that, how many industry players are there, what kind of portion they eat, whether it is growing or not, these all things you can see here in the market size. Latest development from the government side or the government initiative, what they are doing, like see what they have written. The government has identified information technology as one of the 12 champion service sector for which an action plan is being developed, right? So the idea here is, like, you can also get to know about what government is planning to do, whether they are planning to give subsidies, they are setting up more special economic zone to improve or give the facilitate this these companies. So these kind of things are there. Road ahead will obviously help you forecast things. For forecasting things and other, you can also see, this is not only talk about one sector, but these trends will show you overall about how exactly. So I think I have my email ID password. I have, you must create your account also on this website. So yeah, so only if you have created your account you will be able to download the report. So here is your, this is the latest forecast about Assam they have given, so this will open up businesses. Since it's a business website, it will tell you. So even I was speaking to someone recently about Assam. A lot of subsidies have been given for a lot of manufacturing unit. You can identify that some of the smaller companies who are just registered or just got their IPO majorly into Assam, then you will learn that they got a lot of subsidies which will help them establish the things there. So knowing about even the government plans about those sectors is equally important. This is what I'm trying to tell you. So this trend thing will tell you what is the latest trend in the Indian economy specific to certain sectors in certain geography, right? So on different times you will see that different reports are uploaded here. There are so many other reports also which you can find here. They are very good ebooks. I'll tell you, if someone is very very interested into understanding Indian economy, you should keep a habit of reading these reports. Reading these ebooks. The 64 ebooks are pure gem, I would say. Okay, so you must look into these books also. Then this case study is there, Baiju, reinventing education. So you can get some clue about Baiju and the related model of the Baiju and related. So let's say some people are invested into coaching institutes kind of company which got the IPO, but they have the physical coaching. Now you have a success like Baizu, which will be a big threat for those coaching companies which if they are listed. So you can draw a lot of conclusion from these case studies as well. So learning about these case studies will make you more intelligent. At the end of the day, you have to be more intelligent than what you were yesterday in terms of identifying good sectors to invest into, right? So again I'll go back to the IT sector so that I can show you more stuff here. So in showcase it will tell you about 3 4 companies. It used to list many companies before, but these days I have observed that they list only top 3 companies. So TCS, Infosys, Wipro. I think by market capitalization this is the order of these 3 big consulting firm in IT services industry which they have listed. Now about TCS, you can go and see what else you want. I mean, it gives you the history, that how exactly it came into picture, what are the major landmarks they had. So similarly you can look for other 2 companies also. If nothing, then at least it tells you that in IT industry, if you want to go and invest, probably these are the first 3 companies to look into for a novice investor. Okay, I'm not saying that you should stick to these 3 companies and not include more, but for a very early stage investor, for a very novice investor, they can at least start with comparing these 3. Once they know how to compare, obviously, which we will learn in fundamental analysis, then through infographics they try to tell you a lot of numbers. Market size is increasing. This trend is saying that market size will increase further, right? So then reports related with this industry are available here. So Indian IT and ITES industry report. Now this is something which is worth reading line by line, page by page. Okay, right. So I think now you people should be familiar about this website. So you can see the trend, media coverage you can see here, reports are there also, ebooks I spoke about already, which I keep looking at. State-wise reports also you can see, or I mean, I'm not saying something is important or not important, but people have different approach of research. Some people may do even the state-wise research because they may think that they know certain states well and they want to invest into those. Even the states have their own GDP, right? So these kind of reports you will get even under the states. And research I already spoke about. Media events, everything is here, and Yeah, so this is a good website. I mean, probably I was trying to show you that how vast information have been stored, and not only for one sector. You can see for almost every sector. It is not possible for me to cover all the sectors for you people. So this is the website which needs some time of your in terms of understanding different industries and sectors of our economy, right? So now this is a organized way through this website how you will basically go and search about Indian economy, Indian sectors, and the information, relevant information about those sectors. In part 2 of this class, I'll pick up one of the sector and I'll use my general knowledge, not based on this website. Okay, so on this website, you have to go and learn about different sectors by doing this industry analysis. In part 2 of the industry analysis, I'll talk about one sector, IT sector, where I'll tell you that what I understand, how I foresee about industry analysis, about IT and IT sector. And obviously for other sector, you have to develop your own understanding through this website and other information. One thing I can tell you that most of the people will be exposed with one sector or at the max two sector. Even if you go and take up equity research role in one of the company, you will be mostly given one sector to get expertise and hand on things. For retail investors who are taking this course, for you people, I am telling you that this information is more than enough to make you intelligent enough about different industry and forecast which industry will do well or not, or to gain confidence on 6 7 industry or sectors based on the numbers given here or the information given here, right? So that's it for this first class. Let's move to industry analysis part 2, where I'll talk about IT industry using what I know by talking to different people. Okay, so thank you. See you in the class 617.